India's indigenous Tejas fighter, designed and developed primarily within the country after the US sanctioned New Delhi after the nuclear tests of 1998. Critical development work on the jet being done with US assistance had then come grinding to a halt, forcing India to develop key technologies at home. 25 years later, the heart of the next generation Tejas Mark II, its engine, will not only be American but will now be manufactured in India after a landmark jet engine tech transfer deal from America to India. In fact, America's never transferred such technology to any other country. And it's clear that this is a defense relationship that's come around 360 degrees.
जनरल इलेक्ट्रिक कंपनी का भारत में फाइटर प्लेन के इंजन बनाने का फैसला भारत के डिफेंस सेक्टर के लिए ये मील का पत्थर साबित होगा। ये समझौता करके अमेरिका सिर्फ टेक्नोलॉजी ही शेयर नहीं करेगा बल्कि म्यूचुअल ट्रस्ट को भी शेयर करेगा।
This is the MQ-9B drone, the other big-ticket defense item announced during the Prime Minister's visit. India is getting 31 of them in a deal thought to be worth about $3 billion. A decade ago, US export restrictions had meant that India would not be authorized to receive these drones, the most advanced of their class in the world. The strategic relationship today is the product of a series of foundational agreements, painfully negotiated over a decade. They allow Indian and US forces to operate closely together and for India to acquire some of the most sophisticated US weaponry. The General Security of Military Information Agreement, the Logistics Support Agreement, the Communications and Information Security Memorandum of Agreement, and the Basic Exchange and Cooperation Agreement for Geospatial Intelligence.
In simple terms, what these agreements have resulted in are US and Indian platforms, by which I mean ships, maritime reconnaissance aircraft, and drones being able to share electronic data with each other securely through encrypted systems, for our forces to be able to work with one another, and for extremely sensitive real-time intelligence information often acquired from US satellites to be made available to Indian forces. Now, neither India nor the US will spell out exactly how they cooperate, but we can confirm that the relationship is profound and involves tracking China's movements on our land frontier and out at sea.
In 2023, India and the United States now work closer militarily than the US does with any nation except its NATO partners. These Malabar naval exercises include India, the US, Japan and Australia, and are part of a collective military strategy in tackling an expansionist Chinese military. Today, the Chinese Navy, for example, is challenging the US Navy for global supremacy, and Beijing has built its first overseas base in India's backyard in Djibouti in the Horn of Africa, details of which NDTV reported through these satellite images. By coming together strategically, India hopes to shore up its defenses, while the US addresses, with its pronounced tilt now to the Indo-Pacific region, its security concerns, the common threat, China. Vishnu Shom for NDTV.